Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Bullet Sports Spotlight. I'm Jen Maurer, Assistant Director of Athletic Communications here at Gettysburg College. And this week we are highlighting the women's golf program. And here to talk about that is head coach Sue Konstalid, who enters her 14th year at the helm of the program. Sue, thanks for joining us today. And what a year it has been that I don't think any of us could have predicted. Last year, you were able, the 2019 fall season, I should say, you were able to compete in the outdoor season, finishing with one team win and two runner-up finishes, and you closed it up by competing at the Shenandoah Spring Fling during spring break. And who would have thought that would have been the last event that you would have competed in 2019, 2020? So just talk about how it was for your athletes and then leading into not having a fall season, but able to have a spring one this year.
Hi, Jen. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And no, I never would have predicted this year at all. In terms of last year, if I did it chronologically, last year we had four seniors. Three of them had been starting since their freshman year. It was going to be, they were going to put a crown on their college career. And then to have, we're down in Florida for the tournament, and we got the news that we had to come back and that the season was canceled. Emotionally, it was a lot for the kids. And we had our ups and downs. It was like a roller coaster that week as you're getting more information every day. And then, we talked, what can you do? This may be the end of your college career, but it's been a great college career. And one of the kids had a really good attitude, and she's like, you know what, guys, there's going to be a lot of club championships ahead of us. There's going to be a lot of best balls. So I'm proud of the attitude that they had. I'm proud of the way that they handled themselves. And it wasn't the way we wanted to end the season last year, but it's the way it happened. So they did well. In terms of this year, we just didn't know what was going on. And the kids just did the best they could. In the fall, we did a lot of practicing. It was actually kind of nice to just have no pressure of competition and just what do we want to work on, and just have time to work on your game and improve your game. I think when you take the pressure of playing competition away, then you can really focus on some of your mechanics and some of the things that you really want to change. So that was good. We made good use of that time, even though we weren't able to compete. In terms of the spring this year, we, back in January, we didn't even think we were going to be playing, really. So what we got out of this semester is more than we thought we would. Unfortunately, we have two freshmen that we couldn't get back to compete on the team. They're studying remotely. So when we head into conferences next week, we don't have enough to field a full team. We do have individuals, and I think the individuals are doing well. Great attitudes. They're doing really well in practice, making some really good swings, showing some good improvement, and their games look good. So we'll compete as individuals for that, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, and you had just mentioned, I think it's safe to say you would have probably been crowned your 11th Centennial Conference Championship last year had there have been the continuation of the spring season. And, looking ahead to this year, obviously you were able to compete in two events. Again, a lot less than you're used to, but at least you were able to get back out on the course. So how did it feel for not only for you as a coach, but for the athletes competing as well?
They definitely appreciated being able to get out and play. They were very excited about the opportunity. And again, we didn't think we were going to get to compete. So the fact that we did and we were able to, very exciting, very happy. Lots of good vibes.
Yeah, and so looking ahead, as you also mentioned too, you don't have enough to field a team for the conference championships, but you will compete as individuals.
Right.
What piece of advice are you giving the three that are going to be competing?
Golf is an individual sport, so we do have a little bit of individual advice for each person. But really take one shot at a time, stay in the moment, definitely have fun, because this is something that adds to your college career. It's something that it adds to your experience, and it should be enjoyable. So make sure you have fun and do
Yeah,
your
and
best.
let's talk about these championships. So, despite its claim as Gettysburg's youngest varsity athletic program, the women's golf team has been one of the most successful. Your first conference championship, that wasn't an easy feat to say the least. You guys were down by 8 strokes heading into day 2 with McDaniel with the lead. You come back and win. Talk about how did it feel to capture that first Centennial Conference championship?
The first one was very sweet. That was a lot of fun, a lot of emotion, and that was one where I think we played McDaniel uh, half a dozen times during the year, and they always beat us by like 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever. And that was definitely one where, like, you guys, you really can win. And to watch them go out and play that last day was really a lot of fun. In terms of golf, it's really hard to have that lead going into that final day. And that year, I had 4 freshmen that are just getting their feet wet in terms of college sports and college golf. And it was probably a blessing that we were coming from behind, just because of that. It's a lot easier to come from behind than it is to hold on to a lead. And different teams have done it each way, but that first one, it was probably better to come from behind. Um, you know, when I first took over coaching, I can remember looking at the scores that the kids were shooting to win conference championships, and my first thought was like, wow, winning conference championships, that's going to be like shooting fish in a barrel. You teach the kids a little bit and they can do this. And then you start coaching, and then you're like, okay, our team's getting better, but so is everyone else. It was never like shooting fish in a barrel, even though I thought it was, but inexperienced coach, and who knows. Um, the level of play kept getting better. The kids that we recruited, some great kids. I've had so many great kids play here, and it's been fun to watch all of them. Yeah, the first one was definitely special. And then I think we lost. I think we came in second the next year, and the year after that, I thought we were the favorite, and it just didn't work out. And I can remember saying to myself, I just really want each person that plays here on this team to experience winning at least once. And luckily, we were able to do that.
I would say so. I mean, numbers don't lie, and it's true in golf terms as well. And the varsity sport at Gettysburg for women's golf started in 2001. Muhlenberg was actually the first school to win the conference championship, followed by McDaniel. And then we snuck in and have whole place for the last 9 times. So after winning the 2008 one, did you feel like a dominance was coming?
Oh, 2008, I never looked that far ahead. I looked at, like I said, I wanted each person to experience a conference championship at least once. And then you win again. And then I forgot where Kara McNulty really put the program on the map. She was a dominant #1 player, and she won the individual title. You probably have the record book there. What, 3 times, or was it 4?
It was 3 times she
3
did.
times, okay. Yeah, she didn't win her first year, and I said, "It's okay to leave a little something to accomplish next year." But we took it like 1 year at a time, and each year, like I said, you get into the moment. Um, the competition is a lot of fun, and each year you're just focusing on that conference championship or that tournament. So we never really looked at the numbers, and I really think other people look at them more than I always have. And I can remember someone, geez, how many had we won in a row? 5, 6, whatever it was. And I had a group of freshmen playing, and they're all a little nervous because it's like Gettysburg has won so many in a row, and I'm like, that record is so not fair to you. You're a new group. You're a new group of kids. This is your first time. Let's treat it like it's the first time. And I guess I've always tried to forget about the streak, and I've tried to just focus on the kids that I have and where they're at, which is why, like, we can't win this year. So I'm really looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, and again, if numbers don't lie, you've coached 27 All Centennial Conference honorees and 8 Conference Players of the Year, 2 Rookie Conference Players of the Year, and 3 Scholar Athletes. So when you're recruiting and looking for new student athletes to be a part of the women's golf program, what are you looking for?
You know, I'm looking for someone that likes Gettysburg College, that I think would do well at Gettysburg College. I'm not looking for just a golfer. I'm actually looking for more the person and the student that would fit well at Gettysburg, and we can work with their game. There are people that, like Sarah Hansen was one of our top players. She won the conferences her junior and senior year, and she was one of the best captains we've ever had. She didn't come in as a real strong golfer. She came in as a very strong student who also wanted to compete and wanted to experience Gettysburg College because it was a highly ranked small liberal arts school and it had a great science program. And she just developed over the 4 years here. So we're really looking for someone that wants a great education and someone that loves the game of golf and wants the opportunity to compete for 4 years and just make the friendships that you'll make over your college career and have fun.
Yeah, and to kind of go along with that, again, I'm sure winning 10 Centennial Conference Championships is absolutely astonishing. And so, how would you credit the Gettysburg women's golf success?
I would credit each and every kid that was on that team. They were the ones they were the ones holding the clubs. Were the ones hitting the shots. They were the ones that had the mental toughness. They were the ones, each and every one of them are the ones that deserve the credit. Um, I can remember one year, Gettysburg had won, I don't know, maybe 7 times in a row. And this new kid, she's playing in her first conference championship. And she says to me the night before, she says, Coach, I kind of think everyone hates us and they just don't want to see Gettysburg, anyone but Gettysburg win. And I said, my attitude to that was like, what do you want? This is your first time here. Forget about the streak. And then and she says, okay. She says, I know I'll control what I can. I can't control what someone else says, but I can control how I react to it. So she had the right attitude going into the second day. And I'll tell you, at first, that conversation was amazing. And I'm like, this kid doesn't even need me. And then I remembered, oh, yeah, that's what I taught her in the fall. And then it was like, oh, okay, it's all good. Yeah, it's really each kid that's here and it's their contribution to the program. And each kid was a part of the team's success.
And you've also been a 6-time Centennial Conference Coach of the Year. And speaking of coaches, you've had an assistant who's been very successful herself in Kathy Murphy. She's, 6 seasons with you and was recently added to the LPGA Professionals
Hall of Fame.
Yes. And so how has it been to have someone of such experience on the coaching staff with you?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. So when I started, I had been coaching here for a few years, and Kathy ended up moving from Phoenix, Arizona to Gettysburg. And she was actually friends with my coach at Penn State. And she was visiting Mary. And Mary said, hey, do you know Sue Konstalid? She's the women's coach. You got to look her up. And then when I was up at Penn State playing in an alumni event, she says, have you met Kathy Murphy yet? She just moved to Gettysburg. And I said to her, Gettysburg is small. It's not quite that small. But then I ran into Kathy. I must have been wearing a Gettysburg shirt. I ran into her somewhere downtown. We talked for a few minutes. We had lunch and we've been friends ever since. She's one of the best teachers around. I think what she adds to the program is fantastic. Love her approach, love her teaching style, and the kids love her also.
So you've had a lot of great moments out on the course throughout your career here at Gettysburg. So what have been some of your top favorite moments?
Well, I'm glad you're not asking me to choose just one, because coaching is a little like parenting. You can't play favorites and you can't have just one favorite. So there are several favorites. I think the first conference championship that we won was definitely a lot of fun because no one expected us to do it. Then I think there was one where didn't look like we were going to pull it out. And we had one kid, Molly Nolte, actually chipped in on the 18th hole. Gettysburg wins by 1. She chipped in for birdie on the last hole, which was a very difficult par 3, and the shot was very difficult. The crowd goes wild. And then I have one of the other coaches from one of the other schools calling me on my phone, what just happened? And it's like, Molly chipped in, we get it by 1. So that was definitely a fun ending. And then I think like there were a couple years that we won where there was one year where we had so many injuries just in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Our lineup was changing every day. So I think the ones that you aren't supposed to win are really a lot of fun. But then on the flip side, we've been favorite so many times, and it's really, really hard to win when you're the favorite, and it's hard to win when you have the lead going into the last day. And those kids, even though they were supposed to win, they played fantastic. And I actually think that's a harder time to win. So those kids, kudos to all of them. Just all of them. All the kids are my favorites, and all the moments are my favorite.
Yeah, and one final question that I did have for you, Sue, is what does the future look like for the Bullets Women's Golf Program?
Future is bright. I'm liking it. Yeah, I think Gettysburg being a great school academically, and then supporting women's golf the way we have. And when I started coaching, we didn't play a lot of tournaments, and there wasn't really a lot of not sure the word I'm looking for, not a lot of depth there. And we've added to it every year. And I think we have a pretty good program. And I think we will continue to attract quality student athletes in the future. So I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Gettysburg.
Yeah, and I cannot wait to see it again, and then adding more conference championship trophies down in our trophy case that we got going on there. But
I think I love it.
Yeah. And obviously, the women's golf, as a head coach, I should say for yourself, you hold the longest streak of Centennial titles in department history. So I had to make sure to throw that in here at the end. So for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in today to another edition of Bullets Spotlight. So until next time, go Bullets.